Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, what I'm gonna teach you is how to make more money on your next deal. A lot of y'all are wholesalers, but I'm gonna show you how to make more money on your next wholesale deal if you can do one extra step. If you can raise the money to close on the house first, doesn't matter if it's a hard money loan, credit line, your own cash or private money lender, you're gonna make a lot more money. I'm gonna show you how in just a second. So this works more for lower price point properties because the back end closing costs get higher as you go up and it's harder to make these higher end properties work. So I'm gonna show you what we do in our market, right? So as y'all know, I've done a lot of wholesaling in the past and we still do wholesaling, but what I'm about to show you is what we actually do on most of our properties. So we're gonna look at a wholesale transaction in our market as if we were to get the house under contract and wholesale it to a cash buyer, an investor cash buyer, as compared to closing on the house first, putting it on the MLS and wholesaling it or wholetailing it to an owner-occupant cash buyer. Huge difference, and a huge difference in the profit that you're gonna make. So let's look at this closely. Here's the property right here. We're gonna buy it for $25,000. We're gonna have to put $25,000 in repair costs to force that appreciation up to where the market value of this house is now worth $80,000. These are pretty typical numbers, guys. Now I'm gonna round up, so I'm trying to use nice even numbers to make it not so confusing. And I try to film these videos so they're advanced enough to help serious entrepreneurs, but also not too advanced that I'm losing a lot of you new investors who this is just going way over your head. So I'm gonna try to walk through and go through this closely for you, but this is gonna make a lot of sense, hopefully. So if I was to contract this property right here and wholesale it, traditionally in my market right now, houses I can wholesale safely for 80 cents on the dollar. Sometimes I can get up close to 85 cents on the dollar for nice brick houses in nice quality areas that are gonna stay strong if the market crashes or even appreciate right now. And the reason is because people are buying on appreciation right now. They're speculating. Very dangerous to do, but a lot of people are doing it. I don't recommend it. Now, let's say I bought this house for $25,000 or had it under contract for $25,000. I can usually get about 80% of market value after I subtract out my repair costs and the purchase price, right? And that's gonna leave my profit. So how would this work out? 80 cents on the dollar of an $80,000 market value is $64,000. We have to subtract our $25,000 repair costs that investor is going to put in their calculations when they're analyzing the property to get the property up. And then we have to subtract out that last $25,000 for the purchase price, and that's going to leave our profit, $14,000. That's a pretty good deal, right? $14,000 is a quality wholesale deal. Most of our deals we're doing about $10,000, maybe $12,000. So what I want to show you right now is how I can almost double this profit, or over double this profit, I must say, right? So we're going to close on this property first, the same property. Instead of wholesaling it, we're going to raise a little bit of money, we're going to close on it, and we're going to wholesale it through the MLS in front of a bunch of owner-occupant cash buyers. So here's how it works. We're going to purchase the property for $25,000. We're going to have around $1,000 in closing costs, carrying costs on the property, because most of the time we're only going to own this property for less than a month, right? Because we're still wholesaling it to a cash buyer, an owner-occupant cash buyer. So we're only going to have a very low carrying cost. It's not like we're doing a rehab where we got 3, 4, 6 months. You're going to put it on the MLS, usually find a buyer within a week or two, and they're going to close within a week or two. So just basically, usually we're seeing about a month in carrying costs. And then we're going to say, for most of y'all are going to need to use a hard money lender. Pretty typically, you're going to spend anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. I'm showing you very conservative numbers to show you how this works. So our total front end cost to close this deal out of pocket, if I was to buy this property with a hard money lender, one that's not even giving me good rates, is $29,000. Now my total cost to do the whole project, we have to take in our back end calculations. And here's why most people don't look at this type of transaction and don't do this, because they're like, well, I don't want to pay realtor fees. I don't want to, put all this carrying costs and all these extra closing costs in there. But guys, we're selling it for a higher price point, and I'll show you why. So we're gonna have a back end closing cost, guys. It's usually gonna be, for most of y'all, about 4.5% to 5%. So that's your back end closing cost plus 3% to that back end buyer's real estate agent. You're still gonna have to pay this. But what we do is we flat list these houses for a few $100s. So we don't have to pay that front end 3%. And even if we did, really, it's not that much, right? We're playing with a very low price point property. As you go up to $300,000, $400,000 houses, this is gonna get harder to make these numbers work. So this is a low price point strategy. So basically, to close this property on the back end, we're gonna have about $3,100. Total, $32,100 in this transaction. Now, this is what's very important to understand. When an owner-occupant cash buyer buys the property, a lot of them that buy these fixture-uppers or type of labor for equity type of program deals, they're gonna do the work on their own most of the time. At least there's enough of them out there looking on the MLS, this is the type of property they're looking for. A lot of them buy houses through owner financing that are in distressed condition because they can't go get a bank loan. They're tradesmen, they're contractors, GCs, they work in the, in the business somehow, and they're gonna do their own work. So what does that mean? If you're gonna do your own work, this $25,000 repair cost that is used to calculate for a wholesale deal by your back-end buyer investor has labor and repairs in it, or labor and materials in it, I must say, right? So if you're gonna do your own work, you don't have the labor costs, you just have the materials. And labor is the most expensive part of a rehab. So a lot of times, they're only gonna have $10,000 in materials because they're not gonna put their labor in there because they're doing it themselves. Also, they're gonna pay a little bit more than an investor is because they're buying it to live in. So a lot of times we're getting about 90% of market value minus our repair cost equals our purchase price, right? That's what they're gonna pay us for the house. So this same house that I would have wholesaled up here for $14,000 profit, we can now do this calculation. 90% of market value is $80,000. They're gonna calculate in their head, it's gonna cost them about $10,000, and then they're gonna probably offer you around $62,000, something in the low 60s, right? What does that mean? If they pay me $62,000 for this house, and I'm only into it for $32,100, which is my front end acquisition cost to buy it, closing costs, carrying costs, back end closing costs, even after I pay that back end real estate agent by putting it on the MLS, we're only $32,100. Subtract that and you have a profit of $29,900. That's a lot higher than $14,000. Does it make sense to go learn how to raise money or go get a credit line or find someone in your family that can lend you $32,000? Because if you can raise $32,000, you can double or over double your profit here. We do this all the time. These are pretty close to typical numbers that we're doing, guys. This is a great strategy, and while there's a ton of people in this hot market right now, this is what you need to be doing. Now, if you can't raise the money, go ahead and wholesale the house. But say you wholesale 3 of these, keep that cash. Now you have your own cash to do this. So you can go out there and get money in a lot of different areas. I'm pretty sure if you work at it, you can raise that money, guys. It's that important, as you can see. So I hope you like this video on the difference between a profit that you can get from a wholesale deal versus a traditional buying list to an owner-occupant buyer that's gonna do the work on their own. Guys, if you have other videos that you want me to film, please send them in. If you haven't already done so, there's a red button down there that says subscribe. Help the channel out, hit that button. If you wanna get notified as future videos come out, there's a yellow bell down there as well. Click that and you'll get email notifications. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Have a good day.